200 years of colonization, and yet we line up for UK visas. August 15th, 1947, India won her freedom. The British flag came down, but a different flag stayed. A shadow, not one of politics, but of memory, of conditioning, of longing. More than 75 years later, over 500,000 Indians apply for UK visas every year. British universities are flooded with Indian students. Families still celebrate a London return like a medal of pride. The British Empire may be gone from our soil, but is it gone from our minds? For over 200 years, Britain ruled India, not just with guns and laws, but with psychology. They extracted our wealth and slowly our self-worth. India's share of global economy fell from 24% to 4% under British rule. Bengal famines, looted artifacts, brutal taxation, and generations taught to obey a white face, even when that white face knew nothing of India. Our textiles were deindustrialized, our pride colonized, our scholars were sidelined. British education taught us to memorize Shakespeare and forget our very own Kalidas, to celebrate Victoria and mock Rani Lakshmibai, to respect their law and question our dharma. Even those who resisted were made to feel uncivilized, and those who conformed were told they were progressive. That legacy did not end in 1947, it simply changed the costume. In 1835, Thomas Macaulay declared his dream to create a class of Indians, Indian in blood but English in taste. And he succeeded. Today, English is not just a language for us. It is a ladder to jobs, to power, to acceptance. We call it communication, but really it is a test of belonging. Our top schools still prefer Shakespeare to Premchand. Our courts wear British wigs. Our laws still quote British sedation codes. We apologize in British accents. We say please, sorry, and may I. Even when anger burns within, we think fluency equals intelligence, accent equals class. And worst of all, we believe it. We believe we are better when we sound like them, and less when we sound like ourselves. Once Britain took our diamonds, now we send them our doctors. Post-independence, waves of Indians migrated to UK to drive buses, serve tea, heal patients in the NHS. They were once called subjects. Now they are citizens there, but rarely equals. From racism in housing and hiring to whispers of go back home. The British dream came at a cost, and yet it still calls us. In 2022, India became the largest source of skilled worker visas for the UK. Nearly 1 in 3 foreign students in the UK is an Indian. Families spend more than 50 lakh rupees to study in a country that once refused to educate our ancestors equally. And we call it a progress. We beam with pride. She is settled in the UK, but beneath that pride is a question. Are we still seeking validation from the same empire we once fought to escape? On paper, India has surpassed the UK in GDP, but in perception, Britain still feels superior. Why? Because the empire may have left, but its institutions stayed. We still think in pounds, still worship their brands, still respect a British stamp more than a Desi one. The British Museum holds our heritage. The London School of Economics trains our ministers. We don't send them tribute anymore. We send them tuition. data scientists, nurses, foreign exchange, and colonial tax has changed its form, but it never stopped. When Queen Elizabeth died, Indian media mourned like we had lost our own monarch. Wall to wall coverage, royal gossip, colonial nostalgia. We still name cafes, Oxford bookstore. We still celebrate when Indian gets into a Cambridge. We still think a British accent means credibility. Indian weddings are now hosted in British castles. British Indians in parliament are hailed like national heroes. But why? This isn't admiration, it's addiction. Addiction to validation. To a culture that once dismissed our own, we replicate their shows, consume their media, imitate their norms, while forgetting that our own revolutionaries died fighting those very norms. But not all is lost. The dream is changing. India is rising. Not in the image, but in its own. Our startups don't need a London address anymore. Our science doesn't need British backing. IITs, IIMs, ISRO, global companies, global recognition, Triple R, the elephant whisperers. We are no longer asking to be invited. We are building our own stage. More youth now ask, why spend 60 lakh rupees in abroad when you can build at home? Why serve in the UK when you can lead in India? The shift is small but systemic. It is no longer about the escape, it's about creation. This is not about hating Britain at any point of time. This is about healing India. Freedom didn't end in 1947. That was just the first chapter. True freedom begins when we stop asking the permission to matter. Tagore dreamed of a mind without fear, but we still fear being too Indian, too accent heavy, too native. We fear not being global enough. But what if global meant proud? Proud of our language, our stories, our culture. We don't need to mimic them to earn respect. India is not a colony anymore. It is civilization. The empire left long ago. But only we decide when we stop being its subjects. Not in law, but in longing. The future won't be built by these chasing Western approval. It will be built by those setting Indian standards. So next time you say he settled in the UK, pause and ask, is that a pride or programming? And then ask the real question. When will we start dreaming of India? When will we let world start dreaming about moving to India? When will the student of US and UK dream of studying in India? If you have watched till here, then you would be loving this episode. Definitely do like and comment your thoughts about this below.